Good afternoon for most of the country. I am coming to you live from the great state of Minnesota today for our Association Essentials Series class, and grateful that you could be here for our last one of 2024. I'm Michael Johnson, your host for these events, and let's go. I know we got holiday shopping to do, things to do. So let's get into this great topic we have. But before we do that, there is the QR link to our 2025 schedule, which is coming soon. So there's actually nothing there yet. We'll be getting the dates out to you shortly, and excited for a new year, new topics. Excited for Darren Carter, our new corporate trainer here at the HOA Living Families, who is helping us come up with even better training than ever before. Welcome to all of our affiliates and friends around the country. Like I said, I'm pleased to be at our Minnesota operations this week, and grateful for you wherever you are on a board or working with us. Once again, QR for our social media channels. I just saw come across my email the latest community scoop, which will be coming out soon this week. Always our website, of course, where you can find these great links for our previous sessions, which are all recorded and put on our YouTube channel. So you go to boards and then look down, view classes or recordings, and you can see our 101 series, legislative updates, and best practices such as today's program. Excited to announce 2 community managers of the month and 2 of our board members of the month that have been nominated and recognized, and to announce those. This is a surprise to them too. Our first community manager of the month for the month of November is with FCS Community Management, Brianna Cisterns. Congratulations, Brianna. She was nominated for being smart, timely, responsive, and an absolute joy to work with. We appreciate all that you do. Our November board member of the month is also from FCS Community Management in Utah, Mr. Ferris Taylor with Draper Heights Association. Ferris is the November board member of the month. Exemplifies exceptional dedication and leadership to his community, served on the board for over a decade and president for the last 5 years, devoted countless hours to the community's well-being, and is respected throughout his entire community. Congratulations, Ferris. Our December Community Manager of the Month, also from FCS Community Management. Congratulations to Susan. We call her Susie, so it's hard to say Susan. Susan Inkman, FCS and Community Management. Congratulations for all that you do. Nominated for her professionalism, empathy, dedication, knowledge, and just for being an absolute incredible human being, as all of our winners and those who are nominated are. You can nominate your manager if you're a board member or a fellow employee by scanning that QR code there on the screen. We look forward to announcing more winners in 2025. Our December board member of the month comes from our Community Association Management, CAM, in Southern Utah. Villas at Sierra Hills, Eva Sanchez, nominated for Building Better Communities, prioritizes the community, created a newsletter for the community, listens to community concerns, and educates the members of her community. Congratulations, Eva, and thank you for your service on your board. Each of our winners will get a lovely little gift card, and it always comes in nice this time of year. All right, let's get into this month's topic, HOA communication best practices. And George Bernard Shaw says, the single biggest problem with communication is the illusion that it has taken place. every day, as I get thousands of communications on a daily basis. This is a legit thing where we have a conversation with someone about something, but then for our minds tell us, well, we've had that conversation, right? You might be talking with your spouse about one of your children in a situation. You have a great thorough discussion, you work it out, and then you forget to talk to the actual child about the situation. Same thing. You might be talking to a supervisor of employees at your work and about a situation, and then the communication doesn't get to the employee or to other employees. So the board, you excellent volunteer board members, sit around in board meetings, during virtual meetings, email discussions, texting each other, neighborhood walks, and you have these detailed, in-depth discussions about situations in your community, and then maybe that doesn't get down to the end user like it should. We're going to talk about today our communication with vendors, management, us on the management side, and the homeowner members of the community. As always, we mention our hierarchy of authority. And there might be communication requirements that you are required by the laws and statutes in your state, or in the CC&Rs and the declaration requirements, or just in your rules and regulations that you have for your community. That might also put requirements in place that you have to communicate certain things at certain times, or you're possibly in violation of your governing documents or state law. Let's talk first about vendors. And while there's not necessarily a lot of anything in the CC&Rs and state law that would deal with vendors and your communication with them, one example I can think of, though, is your state probably has statutes on the renewal, auto renewal of contracts, and how much notice has to be given before auto renewal provisions kick in place. So typically the vendor has to communicate to you that an auto renewal clause is forthcoming, and you have to communicate back within a certain time to change that. If you aren't going to make any changes, then it just happens. But so that would be an example of some laws that deal with that. Most of the strict requirements would come for homeowners and your communications with them. When we're talking with our vendors, with our great business partners, our landscapers, our snow removal, as I'm looking at the snow falling out the window here, our plumbers, our janitorial crews, management, right, is one of your vendor business partners. We're talking about proposals and contracts, expectations, scope of work. Those are the important things that we need to communicate with our vendor business partners. In the scope of work, we want to communicate health and safety, governing document compliance, fiduciary duty, resident expectations with our business partners, right? And I circle expectations because, right, each individual homeowner honestly doesn't get a voice when it comes to dealing with the business partner vendors. That has been given to you, the board, to deal with. And so this is a tough one. You want to survey the residents. You want to know what their expectations are for the community, what they want, their wants versus their needs. But wants and expectations have financial consequences to them. And so if I'm a homeowner and I expect there's just this little skiff of snow outside right now here in Minnesota, and I want that cleaned immediately, then that's my personal preference. The contract that's been communicated with the snow removal company is that they don't come out to the property until there's at least 2 inches of snow, or maybe yours says 1 inch, or maybe yours says 3 inches. We have a couple communities that say that. So you've got to manage those expectations, those wants, hear them out, but you have to properly communicate that this is what our budget allows. When you're doing an RFP or a request for proposal, you want to be very clear in the communication of defining the project that you need bids for, the scope of the project, and the budget that you have for the project. Provide a background, some history and introduction to your community and to the project itself. Describe all the necessary services that you're looking for pricing for. Challenges or barriers to success, right? I remember the first tennis court 25 years ago that I had replaced. The tennis court, surrounded by a 20-foot high fence, surrounded by landscaping, was located in the middle of a 4-acre park, almost in the dead center, with just some sidewalks to there. Well, tennis court removal and replacement or major modification and repair takes heavy equipment. And so the heavy equipment was going to have to drive through that landscaped park and do some damage to get to the tennis court to be able to do what the community wanted done. Those kind of things need to be specific in the proposal. What are you going to do? What's your selection criteria? How are you going to make this choice? If you're saying low bid is 100% all that we're looking for, then put that in there. We don't recommend that, but put that in there if that's what you're doing. Put in, we're going to look at reputation, work history, availability to do the job within the time frame that you want, plus pricing. And then write your project timelines, and not just the timeline of we want the tennis court replaced in May, but hours will be from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. that there's no extra parking for the equipment required for a project available when people come home from work. And so they all need to leave for work. And so maybe you say you can only be there 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. because you got to wait for everyone to leave and be gone before everyone comes back for the day. So be specific. If you don't want work done on Saturdays or Sundays, when sometimes people are home and they want to sleep in, then you say that. Maybe it can go 7 days a week because you're trying to get it done, but on the weekends they start a little bit later. Other thing like the cleanliness, how much of the job site has to be cleaned up after they're done at the end of each day? Who is their contact person? Probably management, right? We do most of this RFP process for our clients, but who they communicate with. What will the payment schedules? Okay, we're paying 20% up front, and then we're paying 20% every other week for 10 weeks until the project's done. We're holding 10% back at the end for 4 months for maintenance and warranty work. What's the dispute resolution? We recommend a standard mediation arbitration clause instead of court. And then where are they going to be able to park? Where are they going to be able to put their waste? And what is the entire plan? Like I'm thinking of when we do crack seal and seal coating and restriping of our asphalt parking lots. These are huge communication issues where we have to get hundreds of vehicles out of an area of the parking lot on one specific day. Well, where are those vehicles going? Have you gotten permission from the city to park on the street temporarily or in another parking lot? Or are you going to allow double parking for that one day? You have to be very specific and working with your vendor, because they're going to come in that day and you can't miss that day because everyone's been conditioned to move their vehicle for that particular day. So review your project management plans, have it in good communication. Well, communicating with us, your management, or whoever your management might be, right? There's requests and operational support, oversight, performance evaluations. And it's been really exciting to see the changes over the last couple of years, the rapid change in the way we communicate with each other. And I've put on here little arrows to tell you the direction of things. Obviously, access through the communication portal is the top method for incoming, outgoing messaging now, for reports, for scheduling. It's all done through the portal. Vanica is our software, is our preferred provider for our software, and having that communication all linked and tied to the association records is essential. Email has gone way down. And we were at an industry conference the week before Thanksgiving in Washington, D.C., and several companies have just gotten rid of having Outlook altogether, mandating that 100% of the communication with the association be through the owner portal or the board member portal, so that record's there. This is a learning curve, but we're getting there. And then on-site meetings, I put, the left or right arrow on there because honestly, since COVID, the need to have on-site meetings, or that the history and tradition that people thought about, we have to have on-site meetings at the clubhouse, at the library, at the management company offices, has significantly decreased, with a lot of meetings being done virtually now. But there are some things that are benefit from on-site meetings. But as a management company owner, I can tell you our greatest cost in just emotional manpower, in financial bandwidth, in all those kind of things, is the cost to have personnel come to a meeting on site. It's significant, and we want the best managers to stick around and be in this career for the longest period of time. And one way to do that is less on-site meetings. Let's look at each of these individually a little bit. Portal access. So right here, as a board member, you're given real-time access to financial reports. We don't really have to generate, like in the old days, we generate a financial packet that we brought in person to in-person board meetings. You can get real time. You can go on today and say, today is December the 4th. You can look and see what money has been spent or come in the first 4 days of the month of December. You don't have to request that to be produced for you. You can see the ability to review service requests and their statuses. You can look at collections and see where they are in the collection process. All kinds of reports on architectural review requests, collections, open board invoices that need to be approved by the board for payment, owner transfer report, which units have come and gone on sales, violation reports, work order summaries, all available in the board access. Financial reports like accounts payable aging, accounts receivable aging, and by funds. Just so many. I mean, there's hundreds of possibilities. Work order reports, right? It tells you the status of the work orders that have been called in, who requested them, what the requested service is, and, you know, are there attachments or pictures or those kind of things. Collections reports will tell you about how much money might be owed for different unit owners, and what the process is in collecting those funds. Typically, right, these are all fictitious names and addresses, but we have most owners have just a little bit of a balance, and but then we always seem to, most communities have that one owner that is a significant amount of money, and that's been turned over to an attorney. And that process for you, for us, never works as fast as we'd all like it to. So emails, right, are on the way down. It's the same thing. We just want them in the owner portal now to capture a written record, to keep board members in the loop, and management, and to communicate set times, organization, and meetings. And that discussion of on-site meetings, you know, virtual meetings are an excellent option when communication is needed, but other conflicts stand in the way of on-site meetings. Conflict of time and money, for everyone being busy. You don't, I think I really challenge all of us to think, how many on-site meetings do we really need? Can we do it virtually? We currently, as a management company, do not offer this, but we're researching it, and we know several of our friends across the country are offering it. No one in our market areas yet, but the idea of virtual managers, where you have a manager who actually you meet with, is your contact, but they never step on your property. They might be located in a different country, taking care of your management needs. It's an idea. So like I said, it's not something we've rolled out, but it's a level of service somewhere between full service and our accounting only packages through A+. And so just something to think about, ways to save money for your communication, your community, and the communication doesn't change either way. And then when we're communicating with our homeowners, community updates, rule enforcement, event notices, the financial reporting, your transparency of everything. And once again, it's the same kind of idea, right? The idea of most communication that's popular these days is through email blast, short snippets of information, not newsletters, big news. Now, one of our board members of the month, right, created a newsletter. That still works in some communities, depending on the demographics, and it'll always work for some in all communities. But what we've seen in our surveys is that newsletters generally are less well-received, not read thoroughly, than just short email blasted communications. Town hall meetings are always good, especially virtual, still get more people involved. And then the association calendars, really people just want to schedule things. Newsletters, the pros, right? Great for straightforward, summarized communication, can be mailed or emailed, and it's great for future reference and event reminders, right? I still, my city where I live in, the majority of the time, if I do have a home when I'm not traveling to our great offices around the country, still sends a 4-page, you know, right? It's a 11 by 17 folded over to 8.5 by 11, 4-page newsletter each month. There's a message from the mayor and from the city council and from Parks and Recs, upcoming events. And I still, right, I'm old school. I'll still cut out, you know, when the town fair festival is coming or the holiday festival, and I want to put it right up on my refrigerator so that I have a visual reminder every day when I'm opening the fridge several times a day. Oh yeah, this is happening, this is happening. Even when I put those things in the calendar on my phone, I don't always see them. right? There's a lot of other things in there. So I actually like to have both. The cons, it's not a great tool for calls to action because we find in our surveys that less than 20% of homeowners, well, and it's in all industries, read entire newsletter cover to cover. Tips and tricks: if you are going to send out newsletters, review the content prepared by a committee or other. So board, you have enough to do. So let's go ahead and get a communication committee together and let them write the content. It's going to be better. Do homeowner spotlights, do local sports stories, do things that might catch people's attention. What's the best way to deliver that? And then develop a schedule for those newsletters. We do find if it's a monthly newsletter, those are read less than quarterly newsletters, which are read less than every 6 months, which are read less than just an annual newsletter one time a year. So if it's too frequent, then they don't read, they read less of the newsletter. That's what the surveys say. If you need help, we do offer newsletter services to our clients. It's not included in our base management, other than if you send us a PDF of newsletter, we e-blast it out to your homeowners. But we have a full great Marcom department, marketing communications, and they can put together newsletters for you. We've tried to supplement that a little bit with industry related with the aforementioned Community Scoop newsletter. And we try to make it so it's general about living life in a community association and local tips and tricks and things like that. So you might want to look at, when you get the monthly or about every 6 weeks Community Scoop from us, that's possible you could ask us just to forward that to all your homeowners at no cost. That would be at no cost. Town hall meetings are great for if you're talking about one direct project of communication or soliciting feedback about bigger changes. It helps pull people together. It's the common problem where we are less communal than we've ever been. And so this is a way to get people involved. Don't overuse it as, once again, it's like too many newsletters. If you're having a town hall every month or even once a quarter, I mean, I think community should have town hall about once a year, to be honest, unless you got just a giant project, right? You look in the state of Florida, my good friends down there, they were same area, hit by 2 hurricanes within 2 weeks earlier this year. Plus you add on all the additional legislation and insurance problems because of those hurricanes, because of the Surfside Tower collapse and their new requirements for maintenance and reporting. Yeah, some town, like their rates that people are paying more in monthly insurance as part of their assessment than their whole old assessment used to be, borrowing millions of dollars to have insurance coverage on their buildings. Have some town halls when those kind of situations crop up. Tips and tricks: determining the purpose of the meeting, communicating that well in advance. Keep it simple, one topic if possible. Establish a location, virtual or in person, and prepare the information that will be communicated. E-blast, highly recommend. Number one thing, all customer service surveys are showing these days that people just want to text and get answers. They don't want to talk to a human being. Still get plenty, thankfully, that want to. I like to talk to a human being when possible, but people also want to do text. So these short email blasts for one-time actions or stories or information, people can put them in a folder and go, what the association say about when the pool's opening next spring, those kind of things. Emails can get lost or ignored because of the mass communication. I can't handle, those of you who've personally emailed me knows that it takes me a while to get back to you sometimes, because just the amount of emails, about several hundred a day that I get industry related. And then this time of the year, when it's Black Friday and Cyber Monday and Giving Tuesday, like the number of emails that are coming this last week is ridiculous. So that is one of the cons of email communication. For email blast, determine the desired frequency. So maybe your community does every Wednesday. There's just going to be something from the association blasted out. Then owners know, like, oh, I didn't get that email today. Wonder what's going on. Using through the owner portal service, it allows people. One reason why we highly recommend that, and not doing it through like Outlook or Gmail, is here's an example. We can go on to an owner's record and it shows a history of the date and time different communication is sent out to the homeowners. And we can even click in and see if it's been received, if it's been viewed, those kind of things. So using the portal for a quick e-blast, highly recommend. The association calendar, once again, it allows owners to check events, availability of amenities, and can see lifestyle events, important board meeting events. Maybe the architectural, if you're a community with a lot of building and a lot of architectural requests, and they're going to meet on the 20th of each month, it could say on the 10th is the deadline for that meeting of on the 20th, all kinds of things. They're great for future event planning, but they're not particularly helpful for short-term updates. I like being able to go on and see, that the big spring fling where my grandkids can come to the Easter Bunny and the Easter eggs. I like putting that on the calendar now. So I can go in my association and I can go and look and say, okay, it's a Saturday, the day before Easter. It's traditionally when it is, not always though, because sometimes Easter's too early in the year. They want to move it to be a little bit warmer. So try to keep those calendars updated, get that information out there as soon as possible. Board, annual, town hall meetings, community events, get them all on the calendar. Important deadlines. As management, this is what we do all day, every day is communication to the vendor business partners, to your homeowners, to each other, to the boards. And so we can assist you in drafting and sending email blasts through Vanica to homeowners, as long as it's not too frequently. That's going to be included in our base pricing. We can help you obtain bids, coordinate with vendors, drafting and sending community newsletters, right? There's going to be an additional fee there for drafting it. And then rule enforcement, communications, and helping you keep your calendars up to date. It shows a price there. That would be if we're creating media to go on there. Otherwise, just access to the calendar shouldn't be an extra cost. All right. Well, it's a pretty simple topic this month, but I'll ask any of the three HOA living training personnel that I see logged into this event. Do we have any questions that have come in today?
We do not have any. If anybody wants to raise their hand, they're welcome to.
That's probably because I've communicated so well today, Jessica, I think.
Good job, Michael. I think you've done
probably
great.
Yeah, for the topic. Well, look at that. See, I spoke too soon. So Mark raised his hand.
Okay, Mark, you are now allowed to talk, but you're muted. So if you want to unmute and ask your question.
There, I'm unmuted. We're relatively new. When we send in requests via the portal, what would be the expected turnaround response time?
That's a great question. So it can be right, and that's probably a good idea for our team to put together some sort of flow chart. If it's an urgent situation that's not called through an emergency line, obviously, generally within 2 business days. But if it's going out to a vendor or business partner, we're at their mercy. So it's different things. I would love to give one standard answer for different topics, but let's work on getting a flow chart out there. I think that's a great thing. That'd be better communication for us, team. So let's get something out there for Mark and his people and for everybody. Thanks, Mark.
Okay, thank you.
But Mark, I did want to just jump on that. There, homeowners who submit something through the portal, you can see the details of where that's at. And if it's been passed to the community specialist, they can add in notes about reaching out to the vendor. So even if you aren't getting a final communication about that it's been resolved, there are a lot of things in the portal that can provide that information to homeowners and board members.
Okay, and that's fine. I just, we're relatively new. We're about a week into it.
Yeah. Well, so I'll tell you, we have no open items for more than a week for Mark's community. So
Okay,
thanks for joining us today.
you bet.
Any other hands up, team?
Yes, we have Patty here. Patty, you can go ahead.
Yeah, the portal works great when we have emails. When we don't have any email addresses for
Yeah.
homeowners, that it's an issue. Do you have any feedback or anything? How can that be handled? We just struggle with that quite a bit.
Yeah. That's, it's less common than 5-10 years ago, but it does happen. And right, it's the frequency of move in, move outs and gathering that information. We have a little new buyer. We ask the title companies right when they're closing to fill out that new owner information form. And that helps us get that information sometimes. We've had communities do contest. And so they say every email address, all the ones we have now, plus all the ones we get by December 31st will be entered into a drawing for a fabulous all-you-can exclusive trip to Chick-fil-A for lunch or something. And so doing a little contest, and the most effective, which always has a cost to it, is we actually send our staff door to door and knock on the doors for the ones we don't have the address and gather that information just at an hourly fee to talk to people. It's kind of cool too, because we gather people. They're like, oh, you're from the association? Here's my 28 things I have questions about or projects I have. And so it's a good way to gather additional information besides emails, which makes it a longer process, which makes it more expensive. But that's another possibility as well. So great question, Patty. If they just don't have emails, the owner portal is set up so that when you have a communication and say you're just sending a 3-sentence paragraph about some issue, it will send to the 88 out of 100 units that have email, and the other 12, you can tell it to print a hard copy to then be snail mailed to those people. So the system does bifurcate it that way.
Thank you.
Thank you, Patty. Have a great day. I see Daryl. I see others, so I don't know what order they're in, team.
Yes, I have a question about one thing I've had a challenge with is getting the financial information because I know we're being charged, for example, reinvestment fees, when somebody sells their unit or their home.
Right.
And, lien fees and things like that we're being charged from FCS.
Right.
But then how can we know that that those fees are being recovered?
Yeah, that's a great question. So on that billing, we don't bill until the owner has paid, in the case of administrative setup fee, or in case of collection till action's hided. So you should be able to go as a board member, go look at your invoices, and on the invoice, we put collection letter account 600132, and then that's what you're being billed for and paying. And you can then go and run a report on that unit 600312 and see that collection fee $100 or whatever it is. So or administrative setup fee, those are generally checks from the title company. Those are always billed after the money already comes in, because that's when we know to initiate that action. So great question, Daryl. We've got your association. And so we'll have your community manager walk that through, send a little communication on how you can verify that there's an offset that shows that the association received those funds or that action was started. Great question.
Thank you.
And is there one other?
Yeah, it looks like Clara is next.
Yes. One of the questions that I have two questions. One is directly related to the previous question. Why would you not set that up as like a receivable to be received from the individual that you're going to be charging and have that offset the cost that you've charged the association?
Yeah, on your, that's how it will work on a financial report at the end of the month. If you run a report but part of the problem is we bill the month after the fact. So if whatever we just billed on December 2nd or 3rd for collection items, those were done during the month of November. So if you go look in November on your financial report and you see that $500, $100 collection fees came in, then that should match the December payment that will show a billing for 5 collection fees. Now, it doesn't always perfectly match because there might be someone in October that the board of management decided to waive their fee. So there might be an extra credit of 100, or there might be an October one that came in November and but we backdated it to when it was actually happened. So it's not perfect. What I like to do is at the end of the year, on my communities, I put a spreadsheet together of the charges in a particular category, and I just go and I put it in Excel and I color code them. Okay, here's the offset, here's the billing, here's the payment, and I make sure that they all match up. So your manager can help you with that. If not, and then you had a second part of your question, which I don't think it was really your question, but I want to bring up is most of our agreements is our management relationship is with the association, not with the individual owners. We're doing it on behalf of the association, so we don't bill owners directly. It comes through the association's paying the homeowners paying the association, and then management's billing the association. So I hope that helps clarify a little bit. And if you have any problems with that, please reach out and I can kind of show you my tips and tricks for making sure those balance.
Okay. My second question is, when we do a spring walkthrough looking for issues that need to be repaired or replaced, how is that handled? Do those go on to do each of those items go on to a specific work order? Or
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, we prefer, we've learned from experience. And so in the old days, we would have one work order and list those 12, 15 items that are found, but those needed to go to 8 different business partners and committees and things like that. So now every individual issue should get its own action item, work order action item, so you can track them each individually. It's not a summary, like I would love it to see it all in one, but it's the best way because we send so many to landscaping or to the painter or to the handyman or some to the grounds and rec committee. So they should come through as individual work order action items.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Clara, and thank you everyone for your great questions today. I'm gonna say questions of the year today. Really good questions and feedback, and we want more feedback from each of you if possible. And I've got one of our fantastic Marcom employees, Rachel, here. She's all like, let's get moving on so we can ask some questions here. And I can't I've lost the ability to
Oh.
advance the slide
Oh.
somehow. So let me try that again. There we go.
Perfect.
Rachel, I'm gonna let Rachel
Yes.
take over here.
Yes, thanks, Michael. Thanks for an awesome final AES session of 2024. Crazy that we've gotten to this point. We're going to hang out on this slide for a little bit because what we're asking everyone to do is new. And we're hoping that this can go smoothly and be a really positive experience for everyone. We love getting feedback from our board members, and we have in the past asked that you submit surveys to us as we plan for AES content for the next year. And this time we're going to try and have it be a little more interactive, and that will allow you guys to kind of feed off of each other and see what everyone else is saying as well. So if you have a mobile device with you, your cell phone, if you can open the camera and scan this QR code, that's probably going to be the fastest way to accomplish this. But if you don't have a cell phone, if you don't want to mess with a QR code, you could open another tab on the device you're on right now, presumably a laptop or computer, and you can go to menti.com. So you can see that on the slide here. It's menti.com. And it's going to ask you for a code. And that code is showing on the slide as well. It's 28581939. We have managers that join these trainings, and their feedback is invaluable to us as they are direct communicators and connections to our boards. So any managers that are still with us on this training, if you'll do this as well, that would be fantastic. We'd love to get your feedback at the same time. So I'm going to have this pulled up on my device as well.
And I scanned the QR with my phone right here, and it went right to the question. So is there only one question?
Perfect. There's not. We're going to go through 3 of them.
Okay.
So you should see the first question. We'll move through. I'm going to take over. Let's see.
Story of my life.
I'm gonna I am going to take over and share my screen, so we'll see how this goes. Michael, can you see?
Yep,
my
I
screen?
see, yeah, yep.
Awesome. The Mentimeter kind of on the back end here. I'm gonna go ahead and present, which will make it nicer for everyone to see. All right, so we're still on this first question. We're asking what the most helpful topic of 2024 was. And this is fantastic. Thank you all for jumping in and giving us your feedback. You can see live what other people are saying. It looks like...
Wait, why is the one I just did in last place? Okay, now it's not in last place. 4 elections are in last place right now.
Yes, it's changing. It's kind of fun as more results are coming in. We still have Financials 101 in first place, but effective board
Always,
meetings.
always.
Well, yes, so important.
Thank you for that last second vote there for HOA communication, whoever gave that. You're my hero.
I'll jump in and give you a HOA communication vote, Michael.
Well, I did all, so it's okay.
That's true. All of this is a reflection of your fantastic presenting. Awesome. So I'm going to toggle over to the next question. I think for the most part, everyone with us has probably had a chance to respond. So let's take a look at this next one. We're asking you to kind of give a short answer to this. We're asking you to type a little bit. But what's something that you
200 characters, Rachel.
Yes.
That's not short.
Well, that's the max. We'll take less. We'll take less. We're still trying to get everyone out of here by 1. So if you'll reflect on something that you've learned from AES that you plan to implement in your association, that would be fantastic. And you can see these responses coming in, including e-blasts, Michael. So content from today is already going to have an effect, which is fantastic. And hopefully everyone, once you've submitted, you can kind of focus on these responses coming in from other people. The importance of the reserve study. how to read financials, making better budgets. We have a what is AES question, which let's make sure we tackle that right here and now. That's the training you're in right now. It's our Association Essentials series. These are virtual, they're monthly. We tend not to have an AES session in January. We kind of get together as a team and plan for the year in January based on feedback from you guys. And then we come together and create awesome content. So it tends to be these monthly trainings. They're virtual and they're free. They're open to anyone and everyone. And you can access past content as well on our website, HOAliving.com. So if you need to catch up on some past AES sessions, there's recordings waiting for you. And we'd love to see you in future sessions as well. These are great responses. We have multiple people saying that they're interested in committees and starting some committees in their association, which is fantastic. And we can definitely utilize this great feedback as we make plans for 2025. Michael, are you still typing a fantastic response, or can I move to our next question? Where are we at?
I'm not to 200 characters yet, so
Okay, all
I'm gonna
right.
do a really long one. Yeah, no, we can move on.
Okay, perfect. This last question. What do you hope to learn in future AES sessions? This time we're just asking straight away, what would you like us to incorporate in future sessions as we plan for 2025? Okay, getting some great responses. Thank you for hanging in here with us and utilizing this awesome Mentimeter tool. It's fun to get instant responses from you guys. HOA insurance, that's Insurance 101, or another iteration of that is something that we include every year because it is just so vital to our boards. How to handle toxic board members, understanding association bank loans. Okay, someone says they're moving and won't be part of future sessions. Thank you so much for joining us.
I think their life would be better if they still come every month. So
That's the thing. The moving piece doesn't really matter. Even if you're no longer in an association managed by us, these are free. These are open to everyone. So if you want to come and hang out, even after you've moved, we're always happy to have you. But thank you certainly for being part of today's session. Okay, these are great. Planning for and handling inflation. We've touched on that in the past, but it's continuing to be prevalent and absolutely can be included in future discussions. Board code of conduct, how to create great CC&Rs, and how to know that they're up to date. These are great. Just kind of.
I just submitted one.
All right. Is it
You gotta
going
go to the bottom and see.
Which hockey team is better, Minnesota Wild or Utah Hockey Club?
I've been to both now, and like they got some good energy here in Minnesota. We got to step it up, Utah.
Hey, Minnesota's been at it for a bit longer than us. So
yeah, they kind of brag about that a lot.
We can take a page from their book, I think.
Yeah, they're very good. Very good. A lot of fun. Well, this was great, Rachel. Thank you very much for gathering this. And we're going to send out correct surveys to anyone who's attended this year to gather additional feedback, I believe. Hopefully that's right. And always we like to get your 5-star Google reviews as payment for the work of our team for putting these together. It's going to have a little bit of different look, different feel next year. I know that you're tired of hearing from me every month, so we're going to have more guest speakers and presenters. And so but we'd appreciate any positive reviews you would like to give us. This link takes you to all of our any of the partners that join in these broadcasts. So thank you very much. Happy holidays to everyone. Thank you for all those who've contributed to our HOA Living Gives charity project, where we provide Christmas for dozens of underprivileged children and families this time of year. Thank you for each of you for what you do and your service on the board. Like, it is serving in, I'll put it, in elected positions in any capacity, whether an association, school board, city council, planning commission. Tough. People are not always the kindest, and we recognize and see you, and we don't always have the opportunity to individually say thank you, but thank you. Thank you for all you do. Happy holidays, and everyone have a happy new year, and we'll see you in February.